It couldn't be clearer that Donald Trump's administration is solely focused right now on distracting us from his connection with Jeffrey Epstein. It is the reason why Pam Bondi is directly contradicting every single statement that she has made about an Epstein list and telling us essentially to look in any other direction because they want us distracted. But it is not just that this administration worked to cover Donald Trump's ass. We saw it as well in the first, which was just revealed in a shocking report about a potential Epstein pardon from Donald Trump that we are going to get into. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button because it goes a long way in supporting our work. Now, before we can get into this shocking report, which just details how terrified Donald Trump is of more information coming out, I want to start with what Brian Tyler Cohen had to say about the right's reaction to the Epstein scandal.
Yeah, I mean, my view is that this is a con job by this administration. All of these people, Kash Patel, Alina Habba, Dan Bongino, Donald Trump, all of them came forward and said that this was a priority for them because they were stringing their supporters along. And then the moment they get into power, here we are in a situation where the whole thing is just closed and we have no further information on this. And yet, I think it would be fools to be surprised. I mean, this is a guy, Jeffrey Epstein, who Trump himself palled around with for years. This is a guy who Epstein himself called his closest friend for 10 years. This is a guy who Jeffrey Epstein said was his closest friend for 10 years. This is a guy who Donald Trump appointed as his Secretary of Labor, Alex Acosta, who handed him a sweetheart deal, a non-prosecution agreement where he was out of prison 6 out of 7 days a week. So, look, Trump can say what he wants on the campaign trail in the lead up when he needs to get everybody's votes and pander to the base. But at the end of the day, he's the guy in charge. And suddenly the about face from everybody in his administration, the buck falls to one person. It's not Alina Habba or Carolyn Levitt or Dan Bongino or Kash Patel. It's Trump himself.
I think Brian, as usual, is bang on. The right wants us to be distracted because they have pushed these talking points for so long and are being confronted with their own cognitive dissonance. Now, there are some, like Marjorie Taylor Greene, who are speaking out and saying, we want answers, demanding that we see more. And if you scroll through the comments of any White House post right now, especially Pam Bondi on Twitter, MAGA is furious. They are outraged. They are feeling betrayed. They know that Donald Trump has lied to them, something that they have accepted in the past, but this seems to be the step too far from Donald Trump. But again, this has been going on so long. The fact that MAGA hasn't realized it before now just goes to show that they're idiots in a cult. But one specific clip stands out, especially in light of the report that we're going to get into of how Donald Trump has been trying to cover himself this whole time, and we can see it from 2019 right here.
My second question, it's a little bit a different topic, but it's one that a lot of people are talking about. Ghislaine Maxwell is in prison, and a lot of people want to know if she's going to turn in powerful people. And I know you've talked in the past about Prince Andrew, and you've criticized Bill Clinton's behavior. I'm wondering, do you feel that she's going to turn in powerful men? How do you see that working out?
I don't know. I haven't really been following it too much. I just wish her well, frankly. I've met her numerous times over the years, especially since I lived in Palm Beach, and I guess they lived in Palm Beach. But I wish her well, whatever it is. I don't know the situation with Prince Andrew. Just don't know. Not aware of it.
Mr. President.
I wish her well. We should have known it then, that Donald Trump had involvement with Epstein that he was clearly trying to cover for. Why was he wishing a criminal, a diabolical criminal, an evil and disgusting person in Ghislaine Maxwell well? Why was he wishing her well? Why, Donald? Why were you trying to maintain a positive public perception? Why were you trying to maintain a positive relationship with her? Why might that be? Well, we know it's because of Donald Trump's decade-long relationship with Jeffrey Epstein and everything he doesn't want to come out, which is the reason a new report is detailing the steps Donald Trump considered in his first term. Trump held talks on pardon for Ghislaine Maxwell, biographer. Donald Trump weighed pardoning Ghislaine Maxwell for fear that she would spill secrets about his decade-long friendship with convicted trafficker Jeffrey Epstein, after Maxwell, now 63, was arrested by the FBI in July 2020 for allegedly helping Epstein run his trafficking ring, luring and grooming young girls into a web of abuse. Trump grew very wary and began asking, what could she say? What would she say? Author Michael Wolff said on the Daily Beast podcast. Trump and Epstein had been friends since the 1980s. Wolff described them as two guys joined at the hip for a good 15 years. They did everything together, the Trump biographer told host Joanna Coles, and this is from sharing, pursuing women, hunting women, sharing at least one girlfriend for at least a year, and this kind of rich guy relationship with each other's planes. He added, I dare say they kind of loved each other. These sick were brothers in arms for a long time. Their friendship reportedly unraveled in 2004. However, during a bidding war for a Palm Beach waterfront mansion. When it became clear that Maxwell, who became romantically linked to Epstein in the early 1990s, would be brought to trial on trafficking charges, Trump mulled using his executive power to pardon her, according to Wolff. Trump's inner circle pushed back on the idea, however, warning him that it would blow up in his face. Everyone around him was like, God, we hope she won't say anything, but we really hope he doesn't pardon her, said Wolff, who has published 4 tell-all books on the president. Trump, then in his first term, didn't go through with the pardon, but when asked about Maxwell's looming trial, he struck an oddly sympathetic tone, as we saw, saying he wished her well. Reached for comment, Trump's communications director Stephen Chung said, what he always does, Michael Wolff is a lying sack and has been proven to be a fraud. He routinely fabricates stories originating from sick and warped imagination, only possible because he has a severe and debilitating case of Trump derangement syndrome that has rotted his peanut-sized brain. A senior White House official told the Daily Beast that there have been no conversations regarding a pardon for Maxwell and that none will take place. Maxwell, who did not testify during her trial in New York, was eventually convicted on 5 of 6 federal charges, including trafficking of a minor. She was handed a 20-year prison sentence in 2022. A leaked Department of Justice memo revealed Sunday that the Trump administration has essentially closed the book on Epstein, who died in his jail cell in 2019, concluding he was neither murdered nor maintained a client list of powerful elites. So Donald Trump wanted so badly to cover his ass with this Epstein scandal, he was considering pardoning Ghislaine Maxwell. I don't know which is worse, how clearly terrified Donald Trump is, or that he would pardon that evil monster. This just goes to show the level of panic that is happening in the White House right now, and that was happening in the previous White House. Also, Pam Bondi is probably going to lose her job over this. The fact that this has exploded into such a story, and I know Donald Trump was the one stepping on rakes, bringing up Epstein in the first place, was a tremendous mistake given their relationship. But Pam Bondi's memo on Sunday set up a perfectly horrible week of news for Donald Trump that will not stop because even MAGA is furious. And there is no amount of distraction Donald Trump can do to stop it, because he's just not smart enough. And he consistently displays that, as Jen Psaki broke down right here.
We're 6 months in, almost 6 months into Trump's second term. There's a couple things I at least know for sure, you probably do too. Donald Trump has no understanding whatsoever of the economy, no interest in policymaking at all, no earthly clue what he's doing or what is even happening on most days. I mean, every day that fact becomes more and more inescapable. Just take Trump's on-again, off-again tariff policies, which are back in the news today, of course. Remember, it was only 3 months ago, just 3 months ago, that Trump held his big Liberation Day press conference, slapping arbitrary tariffs on 90 countries, promising deals and sending the markets into a downward spiral as a result. He then backed off those tariffs just 1 week after they went into effect. He suspended them for 3 months and promised to negotiate 90 brand new trade deals with 90 countries in just 90 days. Maybe he liked 90. Today was supposed to be the deadline for those 90 deals. It was today. And Trump has delivered none of them. 0. None of them. We've seen some frameworks for potential agreements, what you might call concepts of a deal, which is sometimes like a press release. But nothing has been formally signed. So this week, Trump kicked the can yet again. saying that most of his tariffs will not take effect until August 1st. And on Monday, he even signed an executive order to make the new deadline official. But when asked why he was delaying the tariffs by weeks, Trump denied that his deadline had ever changed.
We didn't move, no. It's always been August 1st, that's when we're paying. And a statement was put out today, and I put it out just to make it clear. It wasn't a change, it was August 1st. We don't change very much. Every time we put out a statement, they say he made a change. I didn't make a change.
He sounds so convincing for a second. It's always been August 1st. It wasn't a change. I didn't make a change. Let me just read to you, though, from the executive order Trump signed just one day before making those exact comments you just saw. Here's what it says, quote, "The 90-day suspension expires at 12:01 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time on July 9th, 2025. I have determined that it is necessary and appropriate to extend the suspension until 12:01 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time on August 1st, 2025. So again, Trump was presented with a document to literally move the date from his original deadline of today to August 1st on Monday. He then signed such document, declaring that he found it necessary and appropriate to change the deadline. But when asked about it just one day later, he says it never happened. Does Trump not remember signing that document? Did, God forbid, his advisors use an auto pen to sign it without his consent? Imagine that. Does Congress need to start holding hearings to figure out who is really running the White House? Or can we just accept the obvious fact that Donald Trump, on any given day, at any given moment, has no earthly clue what is going on around him, even when what he's agreeing to at times, it seems? And the evidence of either his incompetence or ignorance, whatever it may be, maybe a combo, just keeps piling up. I mean, as part of his I'm not chickening out tariff announcement, Trump announced a bunch of new completely arbitrary tariff rates he plans to implement on August 1st. And today he was asked an understandable question about how he came up with those new rates. Here's what he said.
Sir, can you explain how you calculated your latest round of tariffs? Was there a formula that was used?
The formula was a formula based on common sense, based on deficits, based on how we've been treated over the years, and based on raw numbers.
So just to recap there, it's common sense plus deficits plus how we've been treated over the years plus some raw numbers. The rawer, the better. Look, I'm no mathematician. He's clearly not either. It's kind of hard to crunch the numbers when two of those four variables are based entirely on vibes, I guess. I mean, vibes wrapped in a word salad of economic lingo and words he may have seen in briefings at some point in time. I don't know.
This is a man with a pudding brain trying to carry out revenge campaigns on his political opponents while doing everything in his power to duck the biggest scandal of his presidency that even his own supporters are furious about. That is a dangerous combination with Trump that should scare us all. We're going to continue to call it out on this show every single day. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video. And if you stuck around to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you soon.